I think we should start out with pretty much the main story of the week, and that's Kevin Butler resigned from Sony.
That's right, the biggest story this week, Kevin Butler resigned to work at a flooring company.
Yes, president. He's going to be the president. He's moving up because he was only a VP of what? What was he a VP of?
I think he was a VP of everything.
Oh, VP of everything at Sony to now being the president of this flooring company that his cousin owns.
So I think we're told to follow his tweets to continue following what happens with this.
Sony said, stay tuned, we'll have more info on KB's new upstart career shortly. In the meantime, keep following his tweets. So it's probably another marketing ploy.
You think?
No,
I'm feeling nobody was following his tweets.
No, he's really going to work at a flooring company. That's what he went to college for.
Acting school. I heard somebody else resigned this week, too.
Yes, in another act of a marketing scheme, Steve Jobs resigned from Apple as CEO.
Yeah. Sad. End of a dynasty.
He's still going to be there, though, as chairman.
Well, but he hasn't really been there for the last 6 months.
It's true. Tim Cook has been running the show since January.
It's true. I mean, I think he's actually in very poor health, which is, in all seriousness, a very sad story.
Yes.
Yeah, I think his problem, from what I read, is that he has a hormonal imbalance that his body is not using proteins.
I thought he had cancer.
He did, but I think that's fixed. That's not the problem right now. He's some sort of hormonal problem now.
Is that like a side effect from the chemo or something?
I have no idea. I'm not a doctor. And I don't think his doctors know exactly what the is happening, clearly. Otherwise, they'd fix it.
Just goes to show you could have all the money in the world and
still have terrible doctors.
No, and the smallest thing could kill you.
Well, he's not dead yet.
Yeah, he's not dead yet. Exactly.
I think he's far from dying.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
for all we know, he might come back. Like in a year from now, he'll be like, you'll see him come back, and he'll be like all like muscle bound, like Tommy, and be like, "I'm back, bitches."
Yeah, so Steve Jobs in a year is going to have tried the paleo diet, and then he's going to come back stronger.
I'll be back.
I'll be back, yeah.
But hopefully he, recovers. I did watch his commencement speech at Stanford from '05. That was a nice speech, I guess. And I watched a whole bunch of videos of him unveiling the Mac, the first Macintosh, the iMac, the iPhone, blah, blah, blah.
In some ways, I don't think that I would even be a developer if it weren't for the Apple IIe. That was the first platform I ever made a game for. Speaking of.
Yeah, apparently the iPad 2 is about half as powerful as the 360 and PS3.
This is according to John Carmack of id, Mr. Doom. Well, the father of Doom, rather. I'm skeptical of actually if the iPad 2 is half as powerful as the Xbox or the PS3.
Really?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It seems like, there are some nice-looking games on the iPad, and I guess they all run pretty well, but I don't know. Half as powerful?
Oh, half is...
Not a lot.
50% is a lot. I mean, if it's half as powerful, that means that the PS3 is much more powerful.
Well, yeah, but how much more powerful is the PS3 to the PS2?
A lot.
A lot. I would say like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you think the iPad 2 is more powerful than the PS2?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Look at the games. Look at the games from PS2. I mean, when you look back at them now, they look kind of not so good.
The 3D games.
Do you think the iPad 2 could run Metal Gear Solid 3 or...
Absolutely.
Really?
God of War 2, Final Fantasy 12? I don't know.
I think it could. I think they could.
Because, Metal Gear Solid 3 looked pretty good, and Final Fantasy 12 looked really good.
It's true.
So did Final Fantasy 10.
Right, and I don't think that anybody is tuning for the iPad 2 like they were tuning for, let's say, the PS2 to get, like, the maximal performance out of it.
Well, they'll never get the chance. iPad 3 is going to come out in, like, 6 months.
Oh, that's fine. It's fine, but I think that, it just seems like probably a lot more effort went into the software of like fine-tuning the software for PS2 than is going into iPad 2. And I think that's where the difference is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure, I guess.
So,
Well, I mean, first of all, most of these games are written in Objective-C. They're not even written in C++, which right off the bat...
I don't know if that's true. I'm sure Carmack is not writing games in Objective-C.
Not Carmack, but then if you look at the games that Carmack is making, they look pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yes,
I think that only goes to prove
really
my point.
It's true. I mean, of course, I don't think that the iPad 2 is that there's more potential that we haven't tapped. I mean, it's not like Carmack is sitting around learning nothing. He's learned a lot, and he's applying everything he's learned to the iPad. So there's a shortened amount of time needed to perfect the use of the hardware, I think.
Right. Well, and also, here's the other thing. There was a much longer life cycle for PS2 for people to really learn the hardware in and out.
Yeah, right. For everything they've learned, I'm sure they would have tried to apply it on iPad.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, but I mean, there are like hardware-specific things
Yeah.
that they took advantage of. You know, like little weirdnesses of the chip that they kind of, you know, got the
Well,
most.
I think what is definitely for sure is that these little devices are improving in performance so much every iteration that in no time they will basically be as powerful as our PS3s and, you know, Xboxes.
I'm sure the iPad 3 will probably be, if not as good as a PS3, probably pretty close.
I'm willing to bet it'll be close to the Vita.
yeah.
Okay.
Do you really think the iPad 3 is going to be as powerful as the PS3 just a year after the iPad 2?
Might.
Yeah, maybe.
No.
It's going to improve that much?
Why not? The iPad 2 that we have in the office is way faster than the iPad 1 that we have.
It's true.
I mean, it runs circles around it.
Ooh.
I mean, we just did a project for a client, and like we're like, oh, please let us just do iPad 2 only, and they were like, no, it's got to run on iPad, and like it just looks far worse.
Well, we did make it so that it looks much better.
Much better, but not
build it
nearly as good.
Yeah, it looked much better when we just did it for 2, but
Right. So I would venture to say that, okay, if iPad 3 is not twice as fast, going to be at least 50% faster.
how is it? Oh, right. Okay, yeah. I think it's going to basically match the PS Vita in power.
Oh, yeah. That I'm certain. Maybe not PS3, but definitely Vita.
I think the Vita runs some sort of chip very similar to the chip in the iPad 2, actually. But I think it's a quad-core chip.
It's probably running another variant of the ARM chip.
Yeah, but I think it's a quad-core ARM chip, and I think Apple would put that same exact chip into the iPad 3.
Right. Well, right now it's running a dual-core ARM chip, isn't it?
Yes, the A5 or A4? A5.
Yeah, the A4, which is basically like, I guess, two ARM 7s duct taped together.